on the mound over the last, say, 4 weeks of time than Shohei Ohtani. Nearly 40 innings of work over his last 6 starts. Two earned runs, 58 punch-outs, and only 4 extra base hits.
That is incredible, and he's faced some very difficult lineups. He's going to face a tough one here today. My go-tos for Shohei to continue this stretch of dominance on the mound is getting and finishing off batters with his slider. 36 strikeouts with his slider. He's got a whiff percentage at over 45%, and be creative all game long. That's the one word we always use to describe Shohei, creative, throughout the entire game using all his pitches.
I'll face a Braves lineup that since June 1st is a Major League best 33-11 at home. Plenty of all-stars at the top, including Acuna, Swanson, and Riley, who went to this year's game. And a couple of all-stars at the bottom who did not go this year, and Ozuna and Cano, who's been an 8-time all-star. Underway for Ohtani with a first pitch swing and a miss by Ronald Acuna Jr.
First pitch at 97 miles an hour. There's no gradually getting into the game here for Shohei today at 97 first pitch.
No learning curve.
No.
You know, it'll be interesting to watch how Shohei attacks the Braves early for the very reason that you indicate, and it's quickly 0-2 to Acuna. The fact that he thought he was going to be out there an hour earlier, had started his warm-up, and his warm-up is very involved. It's longer and much different than that of most Major League starters. He stood down when we knew it was going to be delayed and then went back out there about 45 minutes later.
Yeah, his routine with those weighted baseballs and all that routine he goes through to be able to get ready to go out there on the mound.
0-2 to Acuna. Got him on 3 pitches. Atlanta, hello.
That's a nasty finishing slider after 97, 99, and then slider, wipeout slider for Shohei. Wow, that had some bite to it.
This is going to be so much fun tonight. It's always fun when Shohei's on the mound, but he's pitching in front of a packed house in a place that he's never been before, in front of a crowd that's never seen him in the flesh. And here's Dansby Swanson now.
And for a team that's defending world champions, too. So that's the edge he needs, especially with a little bit of delay. Last time he had a delay was at home after the ceremonies of the 2002 World Series. Guys were at the ballpark. He was a little bit angry at his routine was set up, and boy, he came out and punched out 13 that night.
Ball and no strikes to all-star Dansby Swanson. You know, the way the Braves profile as a lineup, Gooby, they're very good against velocity. Will be fun to watch tonight, too. So I'll ask you the same question with Morton. Does Shohei rely on velocity tonight, despite the fact that the Braves can catch up to it, or are we going to see even more sliders and splits than we usually do?
I think you probably will see more. I think over the last few games during this stretch, he's been so good. He uses his fastball almost pitching backwards, where you're sitting on some off speed. That's when he throws it. But I think they're going to see a lot more sliders and splitters in this game, maybe even more curveballs than normal, because they do hit fastballs well. Even though you look at some of the guys in this lineup for the Braves, they've been successful against breaking pitches, and that's when you're going to see that splitter, and maybe he'll elevate his fastball then.
Swanson, one of the guys that can straighten out velocity with the best of them. 2 balls and a strike to him. Well, what about the repertoire during this dominant 6-start stretch of Ohtani? Look at what he's done with the splitter. Not a lot of first pitch splits, and that's generally the case. But with 2 strikes, that's how he puts you away.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great swing and miss pitch, and whiff percentage is so high on that one. This might be one of those times you might see it here. Even though he loves that against the lefty, you might see it against the righty here in Swanson.
Got him with a breaking ball. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, he's going that different level already.
You know, it makes sense. If we're going to see more breaking balls, more splits tonight, and here are the numbers. The Braves slug a Major League best 495 against elite velocity, 95 and up. And Swanson's real good in that capacity, so he didn't have a fastball to hit in that at-bat. Here's the 2021 All-Star Matt Olson.
And by the way, that was by design, that slider, the upper third of the strike zone. He has figured that out. When he sees a swing from a batter, if they're not catching up to something upstairs, Shohei will throw his slider upper part of the strike zone like he was able to get Swanson out. Acuna went the slider down and away off the plate.
Matt Olson took a 6-game hitting streak into the All-Star break. And he's in front of Ohtani, 2 balls and no strikes.
Gets so many swing and misses, so many strikeouts with his combination of his splitter and his slider.
And Shohei back in the count, 2 balls and a strike.
And he goes back to his most strikeouts on non-fastballs this season. Shohei to third most at 97. McClanahan, who started the All-Star game at 112. Dylan Cease, who should have been in the All-Star game at 107.
2 balls and a strike, 2 gone, bases empty, scoreless early on, and just missed the outside corner with a breaking ball. 3 balls and a strike.
But going back to that top 3 as far as strikeouts on non-fastballs, all 3 of those guys touch 98 to 100 miles an hour on their fastballs. That's the thing. It's amazing.
Non-fastball is pretty good when your fastball's triple digits.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that. Here's the 3-1 to Olson. Swing and a high fly ball out to left. Ward is there for it. A couple of strikeouts and a 1-2-3 start to the game for Shohei Ohtani. For pitching greatness in Atlanta was set by the trio of Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine during that dominant run in the 90s. So through their first 50 career starts, how did their careers stack up to Shohei Ohtani's? Just check out the K rate.
I'm
31%, double that of Maddox, almost double that of Smoltz. More wins than anybody except for Maddox, a lower ERA than all 3 of those guys who were all Hall of Famers.
Yeah, we were looking at that earlier. We were just shaking our head going, that is unbelievable. And I'm pretty sure they don't have, 40-plus home runs in a season either. So it's amazing what Shohei's been doing.
This is so much fun watching him work to a lineup that's never seen him before. First pitch breaking ball in for a strike to Austin Riley, who's as hot as they come. He's hit in 13 straight games.
And this is the one matchup, Matt, I really want to look at because you mentioned Riley's been hot. He's hitting .333 with 11 home runs, slugging almost 700 versus breaking balls. So we'll see how this works out. He's throwing 2 sliders in a row.
1-1 pitch. Comes back with a heater, and Riley yanks it into left field. I mean, that's how good he's going right now. A leadoff double in the Atlanta half of the second. Hitting streak at 14 games.
And Shohei's looking at the reports. He's seeing that Riley's hitting .247 versus fastballs, but he was quick on that 97 and hooks it into the corner for a double. 23rd double.
So he steals a strike on 1 breaking ball and then thinks, this guy's not thinking I'll go back-to-back on a breaking ball, considering how good he is against him. I'll go with it again and missed. Then the heater, then the double.
Yep.
It's such a fun cat-and-mouse game to play. Here's Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher.
This is the thing,
it's
fun with Shohei, with man in scoring position. This is where we always think next level for Shohei. This is when he goes to that next level with runners in scoring position. 118 batting average with runners in scoring position. And another hot hitter, too, Travis d'Arnaud.
And d'Arnaud behind 0-2.
Although he is susceptible to a slider and a swing and miss, which Shohei would love to get right now.
Shohei kind of taking advantage of d'Arnaud's aggressiveness. He is a notorious count jumper. He'll try to ambush you 0-0, and he's had a lot of success on first pitches this year, but he falls behind 0-2 to Ohtani.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good pitch.
Got him.
Wow.
Dotted 100-mile-an-hour fastball. 3 strikeouts already for Ohtani tonight.
Is that next level?
That's next level.
100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's probably thinking I'm getting a breaking ball.
Yeah. You got to pay an extra fee for that one.
Yeah, you got the Benjamin on that one.
It's a good old-fashioned e-ticket for old-school Disneylanders. 1 gone runner at second base now for Eddie Rosario. Numbers that would indicate Rosario is struggling, but the numbers don't tell the story behind the struggles. This is a guy who got off to a really rocky start and then realized mid-season that he was in need of eye surgery. Had a corrective eye procedure performed. That's bounced right into the shift. And that's out number 2. You know, we saw that 100-mile-an-hour pitch by Ohtani to strike out Darno. It's the subject of our Coors Light beating the pressure tonight. 100-mile-an-hour pitches. And for Shohei, he came into the night with 26 of them. And that ranks first among American League starting pitchers.
It's another one of those things we were talking earlier today. We were kind of shocked. Didn't see. We were thinking maybe Garrett Cole would have more, but Shohei Ohtani at the top in that category in the American League.
And then what he does with the bat. Exit velo of 100 miles an hour or more. Top 10 in that capacity. Here's Marcell Ozuna now. Two-time All-Star. Also picking out a first pitch and fouling it off.
Yeah, there's quite a few guys in this lineup that are aggressive on the first pitch. You mentioned Darno. He's hitting over 500 on the first pitch. And when you're facing Shohei Ohtani, that may be your best opportunity, that first pitch.
Stay away from those split finger fastball counts, those 2-strike counts. And it's a ball and a strike to Ozuna.
By the way, it seems like, okay, you should be able to catch that rather easily as a catcher, but when you're setting up in the outside corner, it's 100 miles an hour. It's not that easy. It's like getting a slap shot at the top of the circle and trying to make a save as a goalie.
No, there's nothing about that that's easy to just a casual fan like me. No chance. Ozuna 0 for his last 10 into the break.
That was his first splitter. He generally, his first splitter he'll throw, he has a tendency to elevate it because his wrist isn't, he's not staying on top of the baseball and his wrist is not working down on the baseball. It kind of stays flat and he'll stay upstairs. The first one he'll throw.
Let's see if he doubles up on that here. We'll try to find a feel for that pitch. 2 balls and a strike to Ozuna. 2-out runner at third. Back to the 100-mile-an-hour heater.
So far, it's all about the Benjamins for Shohei with the 100-mile-an-hour fastball here in this inning.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Right back to that fastball, his firmest of the night at 101. I was thinking he was going to drop down on a split finger fastball there, and if he did and Ozuna swung at it, his shoulder might have dislocated. You're geared up for 100, 101.
Yeah.
And then the split comes your way.
So you got to believe it's going to be a splitter or a slider here. You got to keep that in front if you're Max Stassi, though.
The next 2-2. It's a slider and it's grounded to third. VR has it, a routine play to keep the Braves off the scoreboard in the second. Cadillac dealers by Jack in the Box, introducing the new $5.99 double bacon cheesy Jack combo at Jack in the Box. Order on the new Jack app today. And by Keck Hospital of USC. Shohei Ohtani making his first ever appearance in Atlanta. And for a franchise that draws very well in a just 7-year-old ballpark that is a World Series champion, it's even more full tonight than it would be on an ordinary Friday because there was a substantial walk-up crowd to see Shohei tonight.
I've seen so many Ohtani shirts, even the shirt where Shohei's picture's all over the shirt. We've seen that a few places. It is packed here tonight.
It reminds you almost of, you know, the Mark Fidrych phenomenon of 1976, the dynamic Rookie of the Year for the Tigers, the late great Mark Fidrych, and how George Steinbrenner, owning the Yankees at that point, tried to get as many Fidrych games at Yankee Stadium as possible. And the fact that the Tigers would actually stunt his appearances to make sure they had his home gate. We have a pinch hitter here starting things in the third. And we're not sure what might have happened to Robinson Cano, scheduled to bat here, but Orlando Arcia bats to lead things off here in the third inning for Atlanta.
And he's saying, oh, thank you, Robinson Cano, for that. 2 sliders in a row, first 2 pitches.
I didn't think I was playing. I'm cold. And you want me to pinch it now?
Yeah. I'm just going to track a few pitches.
Cano was out there defensively last inning, best I can tell. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, pinch hitter, as you were.
That last slider, you threw one in the zone, so that means you're going to have a chance to get a swing at it, expand the strike zone. This starts on the outside corner, ends up in the left-handed batter's box, and still get a swing. I mean, look how tight that slider is. He's going back to the dugout. Robinson, we used to be friends. No more.
Number 9 batter Michael Harris. And we'll see how Ohtani goes about pitching to a rookie who's got a chase rate among the higher on the roster at 42%. Harris has had a great rookie year. 283 batting average, OPS over 800, and a local guy.
I'm just looking the way he sets up his hands. You wonder if Shohei is going to see that, and Shohei recognizes, whether it's stance or where batters have their hands, that you would think he'd be susceptible to a fastball on the inner half elevated with his hands set up like that. See if Shohei will do that.
The National League's Rookie of the Month for June is behind a ball and 2 strikes.
Already seeing his cutter being used early in this game. Last game out, what was his 7th inning, he started using his cutter. He's already thrown 3 or 4 of them today.
Well,
that's that one rated on the hands.
You bring up something interesting with Harris's hands, almost Jason Hayward-ish. How it looks like it keeps him in a locked position. We'll see if they try to come in on him again. Strike him out over the top.
That's a splitter. That is nasty.
5 strikeouts for Ohtani, first time through the order.
Stays on top of this one, straight down. That quick adjustment from that splitter he threw to Zuna, his first time up where he elevated, stayed this time on top of the baseball, downward action, swing and miss.
Ronald Acuna Jr. was a strikeout victim to start the first inning. Puts him at an 0 for his last 9. You know, as capable as the Braves lineup is, there's some strikeout here. Their 29% whiff rate as a team is the highest in baseball.
That was a curveball he threw first pitch for Shohei.
Yeah, on Shohei's last start, and I was not there for it, Wednesday against the Astros, and I tuned into you and Patrick that night. It was the slider that he got a lot of swing and miss on, right? 24 swings and misses, 14 of those on sliders. Missed with a fastball. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, in that game he had a splitter working earlier on, and then he didn't have a feel for it. Then he went to his slider, then he started throwing his cutter, and then he started changing speeds with his slider, and got a ton of swing and misses. I wonder if he's going to try one now after that 99-mile-an-hour fastball or curveball potentially.
Got him looking. 6 strikeouts for Ohtani through 3 innings tonight. What do you think, Atlanta? You glad this guy's not in the division?
How about the looks he's getting back as you walk back to the dugout? Wow.
Shohei Ohtani has struck out 6 through 3 innings tonight, and his punch-outs are Arco top tiers of the play. Started with Ronald Acuna chasing. He got Swanson, Darno looking, and then he struck out Arcia, cold off the bench, Michael Harris, and then Acuna for a second time. 4 swinging and 2 looking make out the 6 strikeouts.
See how creative he is, using all his pitches to get punch-outs, splitter, slider, four-seamer, and curveball already for strikeouts for Shohei.
Dansby Swanson leads off the Atlanta fourth, a scoreless tie. Charlie Morton wiggled off the hook. He had first and third, nobody out, and then bases loaded, one out, and ended up rolling his ground ball to get out of trouble. So still a scoreless ball game here in our series opener tonight. Swanson, Olsen, and Riley.
These are always a tough one as far as momentum for it when you're going against a team that got through an inning, no damage done. Generally, you have that adrenaline going on in offense, but they're not facing a normal pitcher, and that would be Shohei Ohtani, or see if Shohei can make sure that momentum stays where he's at on the mound.
2 balls and no strikes. You know, it's pretty amazing when you consider the strikeout totals, and we talk about this a lot. Strikeouts require at least 3 pitches, usually more. 3-pitch strikeouts are pretty rare. So it's hard to be efficient when you're a strikeout pitcher, right? Big-time strikeout pitchers oftentimes don't get as far in the game as guys that pitch to early contact. We know this to be true. But as is the case with so many things, Ohtani seems to be an outlier in that regard. His innings per start up from last year. Pitches per plate appearance down, yet his strikeout percentage is up.
That's the thing that jumps out to me, that 3.99 pitches per plate appearance. So he's finishing off hitters as quick as possible. But it also means he's getting a lot of quick 1 or 2 pitch outs when he's around the zone. And then when he gets ahead, that's when he finishes off batters. I mean, that's a nasty splitter right there. It barely made contact with.
Here we go, back-to-back on the split is what I'm calling for against Dansby Swanson. Again, Swanson's a guy that straightens out the plus velocity with the best of them. So how about a non-heater here to put him away? Trying to keep the bases clean in front of the big guys. Up next, the 2-2. Breaking ball fouled away.
I was thinking right with you, splitter there. Especially whenever you see Stassi set right in the middle of the plate, that means he's going to trust that splitter's not going to stay true to it. It's going to go, it's going to break straight down, or it's going to have some movement down and away. He dropped a curveball in on him. You could ride a high fastball now after an 81-mile-an-hour curveball. That's a pretty good separation in speeds if he wants to go upstairs.
Out of the strike zone, you're saying?
Yep. Or just throw a splitter and say goodnight.
That disappeared. That ball literally disappeared on Swanson. 7 strikeouts for Shohei. And that's 4 in a row dating back to the 3rd inning.
I mean, these fans in this ballpark, you see the very little rotation of the baseball with a splitter.
There's Matt Olson now. You know, we know that strike one is important for every pitcher. But if we dive into the Kia player profile tonight for Ohtani, after he gets ahead 0-1, the opponent is basically rendered useless.
You're of no use anymore. Just go grab some pine.
It's 1-1 to Olson. Let's go back to that. I think those numbers are worth a second glance. The whiff percentage after an 0-1 count is almost 45%. He is just in control of the plate appearance when he gets that first strike. Olson sends one into right center field, and it sounded like he might have broken his bat.
And as I look around the crowd here, they've seen so many great pitchers over the years down here in Atlanta, 3 Hall of Famers. You can almost sense they're looking down at Shohei Ohtani and going, wow, this is unreal. And they're all on the edge of their seats watching this performance already for Shohei. We're only in the 4th inning, but what they're seeing is something they go, wow, we've seen these guys before on the mound dominate, but not quite like this.
2 quick outs now for Austin Riley, who has the lone Atlanta hit in this game. Comebacker. Ohtani's also the best athlete on the field. He'll do it himself. Braves go away quickly and quietly in the 4th. Still scoreless at Truist Park. pitching matchups, you're really enjoying this one tonight. Shohei Ohtani has been absolutely brilliant. 7 strikeouts. 2 of them looking, 5 swinging. He's used everything in his arsenal. He's taken care of Ronald Acuna Jr. twice, and Charlie Morton's been able to dance out of trouble each of the last 2 innings to keep this scoreless tie going. And as you can see, Shohei's still much more efficient than Morton. Only 49 pitches through his 4 innings, and Morton might have perhaps another inning in him before he gets to the top of the task.
It's amazing what Shohei has done, how efficient he's been. 53 strikes for Morton. That's more than Shohei has thrown combined already in this game. See how that foot is after getting hit by that curveball from Charlie Morton. It's that push off the pitching rubber. He's a guy that uses that lower half of his body to create that arm action so effectively.
See if that plays a role here as we move forward here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Travis d'Arnaud, Eddie Rosario, and Marcell Ozuna. Scoreless ball game. Fun one to watch. And a little different than some of the action happening around Major League Baseball elsewhere tonight. And I'm speaking specifically, Gooby, of the 25-3 lead the Blue Jays have over the Red Sox in Boston currently.
25-3?
25-3.
So the Argonauts are playing the Patriots right now?
Toronto scored 11 runs in the top of the 5th with 2 out. How many position players will Boston use to close out that nightmare? Ball and no strikes, the count to Travis d'Arnaud.
So far, so good as far as getting that drive and landing effectively. Off that pitching rubber, using that back foot, landing front on the ball of the foot, pointing towards his target. Looks smooth.
Little chip shot back to Shohei, loses his footing and still gets it to first base on time.
It's amazing. Shohei can laugh at that. We're all holding our breath, though.
Right.
Even when he's falling, he still makes a good throw.
And he's just got the best disposition, right? He's always laughing about this kind of thing. He wouldn't have laughed if he didn't get the out.
I'm throwing that ball about 20 rows deep.
That's like an 8-inch divot, too.
So he's working his feet on this last half inning or so, getting hit with a pitch, and now have to move around and field a slow little roller to him.
1 away now for Eddie Rosario.
So it's back-to-back outs. He fielded himself.
A good play to retire Riley in the 4th. And gets d'Arnaud here to start the 5th. Oh, boy. Oh, home plate umpire Quinn Walcott took that foul tip.
Looked like upper shoulder collarbone area.
No bueno. Oh,
right underneath the neck.
Boy, that got right under the little kind of Steve Yeager protective extension. I'm telling you, if there's a way for a baseball to get you through a hole in padding, it'll get you.
Even like for a catcher, sometimes when you bend down, they have that slight little separation in the shin guards and the knee pad. It somehow always seems to find that.
There is no space in there, yet that ball snuck in there and got him in the neck. Good to see he's okay. 0-2 the count to Eddie Rosario. Got him.
He is automatic 0-2 splitter and a swing and miss on that splitter. He's one of the best in the game finishing off hitters 0-2, although that one game in Texas where he gave up an 0-2 grand slam to Jonah Heim on a splitter, the first time he ever gave up either one of those. An 0-2 hit on a splitter. He didn't give up any of the year before, and it's definitely a home run, but that one was nasty.
Highest whiff percentage on any particular pitch, and Ohtani's split generates a 49% whiff rate, the highest of anybody's splitter in baseball. Spencer Strider of these Braves is a big-time punch-out machine, and luckily the Angels won't have to deal with him this weekend.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It would be kind of fun to see him. I'm like, nah, maybe not. Watching a couple highlights.
No.
That's another nasty splitter for Shohei.
Fun for Braves fans, not for Angels hitters.
No.
No good. Marcell Ozuna grounded out in the second. And he's behind 0-2. Spencer Strider started the year as a rookie reliever. There were zero expectations that he'd become a dominant starter, and in the Rookie of the Year race, of which he's the favorite now.
He's a strikeout machine.
He's been awesome.
He's touched 100 miles an hour also. Splitter, splitter, splitter. Good night, everybody.
Ozuna's a strikeout victim. Another 1-2-3 frame for Ohtani. Still scoreless in Atlanta.
So far tonight, Shohei has been excellent. His slider, his curveball, his splitter, his velocity on his fastball touching 101 miles per hour. He is pitching and being creative, using all his pitches to get his strikeouts, 9 of them in the game. Shohei Ohtani dominant, but also showing he can field his position. That splitter has got it working now. When he gets that splitter working, that makes it even more devastating, and showing that range he has, taking away that throw, takes that play at first himself.
Slider starts. Orlando Arcia with a swing and a miss. Arcia followed by Harris and Acuna. 9 strikeouts for Shohei through 5. Just looking for a little bit of support on the other side of the scorecard. Scoreless, last of the 6th.
Arcia has seen 5 straight sliders. The first at bat, 3, and then first 2.
Arcia entered the game in the 3rd, and we just now got word as to why Robinson Cano was taken out of the game. Apparently he had some dizziness that led Brian Snitker to make the change. Brian Snitker is 3 wins away from 500. He would be the 5th Atlanta Braves manager to reach that milestone, and we prefer it happens sometime after this weekend.
Yes.
Of course. A ball and 2 strikes, the count to Arcia. Got him. Another double-digit strikeout night for Shohei.
His 8th of the season, 5th straight start for Shohei. There's that slider again.
Only the great Nolan Ryan has run off more consecutive double-digit strikeout games than Ohtani, and he had 2 separate rips at it. 10 strikeouts for Ohtani tonight as he goes back to work on Michael Harris. And starts him with a slider swung on and missed. Yeah, that's good against left-handers, too. I mean, the superlatives, it almost feels like, you know, fans receive this with a ho-hum because they come at you so many times, and every time he takes the mound, he does something else magnificent. And it's 0-2 to Harris. And I got one for you. He is the only Angel pitcher in franchise history to get through 15 starts with an ERA under 2.5, a whip under 1, and 100 or more strikeouts. He's the only one. Not Chuck Finley, not Nolan Ryan, not Jared Weaver, not Kirk McCaskill. Keep going and going and
Frank
going.
Tanana when he was throwing upper 90s.
Not our friend Clyde Wright. Just Shohei.
Wow, that's splitter.
11 strikeouts for Ohtani tonight.
By the way, that was a 93 mile an hour splitter. 93.
Oh, man.
Look where this ends up. It's wow.
This is a huge crowd tonight. It's near a sellout, and they have been completely taken out of it because of the opponent starter. Shohei Ohtani has made 40,000 plus feel very small.
Yeah.
And now it's back to Acuna, who hasn't figured him out tonight. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
Wow. You know you're looking slider away. Shohei said look out, and so did Acuna Jr.
Yeah, that was Shohei screaming.
Yep. That was at 99. So a 93-mile-an-hour splitter followed by a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Went in there again with a breaking ball and missed. So we talked about how good Ohtani and Morton have been third time through the lineup. Shohei in particular. A whip, walks and hits over innings pitched, right? And anything sub 1 is really good. Anything sub 1 1/4 is pretty good.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to that. And that one missed. 3 balls and no strikes to Acuna. So AL starters since 2000. We're covering a broad sample of time here. And Ohtani makes a list with some of the all-time greats, including a Hall of Famer.
Yes. And a future Hall of Famer in Verlander. A 3-0 cutter.
He's been able to throw that cutter or slider wherever he wants tonight.
Got to believe that Acuna Jr. is swinging at this pitch here. See what Shohei decides to throw here. Looks like maybe another cutter.
3-1. And he's right back to a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes as he tries to strike out his 5th straight batter and strike out the side in order for the 2nd time tonight.
And this is what makes it difficult for a hitter against Ohtani. Okay, you've thrown back-to-back cutters. So now you throw a slider here potentially where it's going to be a separation. It's going to be a similar break, but it's going to be a separation about 5 miles per hour potential if he tries a slider.
Full count to Acuna. And it's on the ground on a hop for Velasquez. Like a contact out feels like a rally tonight. Sports is brought to you by the OC Healthcare Agency. Build your healthiest self at angels.ocnavigator.org. And by Hyundai. To learn about Hyundai's advanced technology and award-winning safety, visit buyhyundai.com or see your SoCal Hyundai dealers today. 100 miles an hour of velocity that Shohei Ohtani has hit on a handful of occasions tonight in the midst of an 11 strikeout ball game. Dylan Thomas just reactivated to the big league roster, called up today, takes over in left field, and that moves Taylor Ward to center. That's how the Angels realign for the bottom half of the 7th. And Ohtani with 11 strikeouts on his line already goes back to work for Swanson, Olsen, and Riley.
11 strikeouts, 71 pitches. 71.
Yeah, there's plenty of canvas left tonight. Shohei's season and career high is 13. And it's 0-1 to Swanson.
Take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud, where he's gotten those strikeouts with 6 on his splitter, 3 from slider, 1 four-seamer, 1 curveball. Common theme is a lot of chases well out of the strike zone, and even when in the strike zone, he's had enough velocity on pitches to be able to get strikeouts. But look at those chases, how far out of the zone. You got to have outstanding stuff to get that chases for an offense like the Braves. Coming into this game, they had 10 batters with slugging percentage over 400 or above. 10. 400 or more slugging percentage.
Well, they're an aggressive team. We talked about the damage they've done on first pitches all year long, and Shohei's been able to kind of harness that aggression, that aggressiveness for his own purposes tonight. Top of the zone for a called strike, 1 and 2. He's going to get there, man. 11 strikeouts and counting, as you mentioned, a low pitch count.
He's got a split right now, you would think, throwing. After 99 on the outside corner, upper part of the strike zone.
The 1-2. Swanson just able to check it.
Yeah, he overthrew that split. Almost like that first splitter he threw of the game against Marcell Ozuna. Remember, it was upstairs like that? He makes a quick adjustment, so I would not be surprised if you get another splitter.
Two. And a full count now, 3-2 to Dansby Swanson.
couple pretty good takes by Swanson, even though they were out of the strike zone. After a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, upper quadrant was a strike called. To take those next two pitches, that's pretty impressive.
He got him on a changeup in the fourth, and we talked about how Swanson can straighten out the heavy velo with the best of them. See if it's a non-fastball. 3-2 pitch. And it's a leadoff walk. Very rare walk. He's been super efficient tonight. And speaking of efficient, today is the anniversary on this date, 1997. Greg Maddux, then a Brave, a 78-pitch complete game win against the Cubs. 78 pitches. This year alone, we've seen 13 9-inning complete games, and only one of them was under 100 pitches.
76 pitches. That's unreal. That is unbelievable. It's the professor.
First offering to Matt Olson is fouled away.
I still remember he had a quote recently. He said, if I really, everyone talk about velocity on pitches. He goes, if I wanted to throw harder, I could have, but why? It's all about locating my pitches, changing speeds. I didn't need to throw harder. I need to spot it, my pitches better.
I loved what he used to say when he talked about that. He used to say, try less, right? Olson swings and sends a drive to deep right field, and that one's gonna go. Matt Olson's 5th homer in his last 7 games, and the Braves finally break through against Shohei Ohtani.
And it doesn't happen often. That's a splitter. It was flat. And for a batter that Shohei has thrown so many incredible splitters against, this one stayed in his swing path. See the splitter grip, and it cuts instead of going down or down and away.
Shohei Ohtani had dominated Matt Olson over the years. 1 for 15 with 6 strikeouts, but a 2-run homer moments ago.
You go back to that at bat by Swanson. It was able to not go after 3 pitches in a row where Shohei had a chance to finish him off.
And there's a base hit for Austin Riley, the 2nd of the game.
So these last 2 hits have been non-fastballs, a splitter-slider combination. Splitter hit out and then a slider here. Mentioned in numbers versus breaking balls for Austin Riley.
Yeah, 21st homer against the Angels. And Angel fans, unfortunately, know all about how that guy has kind of taken care of business. Really good against left-handed pitching, good in the afternoons, and tonight good against a right-hander who had struck out 11.
Yeah. And I remember after one game where Shohei struck him out, I think 3 times in a game, he said, I've never seen anything like his splitter in my life. He finally got that one mistake splitter.
Travis d'Arnaud now, 2 runs in, a runner aboard, and d'Arnaud pops the first one foul. 0-1 on the Atlanta catcher. For the first time tonight, some stirring in the Angels bullpen. 0-1 slider swung on and missed. Aaron Luke just got up. Counts 0-2 on Darno. Slapped into right field. Adele's got to move on it and can't get there in time. Big throw into third. Boy, was almost accurate enough to get Riley wrapping around. That was a lot closer at third than we thought it would be.
We've seen that strong throwing arm, but just up the left field side of the bag. And a quick look back by Riley, realizing he's got to find a way to get away from that throw at third base and slide to the inside part of the bag.
4 straight Braves have reached base. That includes the homer by Olson. And now it's Eddie Rosario, and for the first time tonight, this place has gotten loud. It kind of sounds like the crowd that it is right now. Through the first 6 innings tonight, Ohtani allowed just 1 hit. Just 1 base runner.
I was wondering if they're going to bring the infield in, and now it looks like they're playing in now because I don't think he can afford to give up another run. Ground ball that right side of the infield. If you have a play at the plate, you're going to the plate. Now they're halfway in.
Still bringing it at 99 miles an hour. It's 0-2 now.
Needing that punch out. Ooh, he was on that 99 mile an hour fastball.
Back.
I think you got to think in terms of splitter now.
Yeah, Rosario has been struggling even since the eye surgery. We really haven't talked about it a lot tonight, but a guy who just was not himself to start the year. Laser surgery in late April. That's into right field. That brings Riley in to make it 3-0 Braves.
It's another 0-2 hit. And that was a splitter, and he went down and got it. But it stayed on the inner half. That's back-to-back splitters in this inning, where it didn't go straight down or go away. It went inside on the swing path of a left-handed batter, Olson, and then this one to Rosario. If it fades straight down or go away, it's an out.
Yeah, we just haven't seen this kind of damage against the split as Matt Wise comes out with Ippei to discuss things with Ohtani. In this great 6-start stretch that he was in the midst of at the start of the night, right? The terrific run that he's in, 6-0. 1 hit against the split. And a couple of them this inning.
But the common theme is instead of going straight down, it went on the inner half of the plate, the splitter. So that means he didn't stay on top. He turned his wrist just enough to have that baseball almost have a cut action to it.
There's nobody out here. Runners at first and second with 3 runs in. And it'll be Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna 0 for his last 12. That slider starts him with a strike.
I still think when you go back to the one batter that really got this thing going is Dansby Swanson not going after any of those pitches when he was behind with 2 strikes on him. And knowing the way things have been going offensively, you have no room for error if you're Shohei. So you're trying to make the perfect pitch every pitch you throw. Sometimes that's as good as Shohei is. Sometimes that's tough.
Ozuna lifts a fly ball to center for Ward. And that's the first out of the inning. So now you've got Orlando Arcia, the right-handed batter, and then Harris due up next, a left-handed hitter. And you can speculate here that perhaps this will be the last batter for Shohei. We'll see. They might let him finish the inning. I think it might depend on what happens here with Arcia.
Depending on the swings. Remember, he has struck him out twice already on sliders.
Man, it just feels like that the end of the night came so quickly. He was rolling through 6 innings. And you make a great point. That at bat by Swanson. There's a drive out to left. Thomas at the wall. It's gone. Wow. And just like that, 6-0 Braves. Pitching change, and we'll be right back.